Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone else, aliens and the like. Welcome to another great round of ANZCAR Cup for 2022. Tonight we are at Sonoma Raceway, and this is going to be a great test for some of these drivers. It is still a very slippery racetrack, and the sun is bearing down on it at the moment. Tonight I'm joined in the box by none other than Mr. Matt Hunter. Good evening, Matt. How are you?
Good evening, Mark. I'm pretty good. How are you going?
Yeah, yeah, fine, mate. Happy to be back in the commentary box, and I can tell you, I'm glad I'm not out there racing tonight with these boys because that is going to be one hell of a race.
There's a few new features out there tonight with the damage model and new restarts, and also a change of layout. We're going back to the Cup historic layout with the chute.
Yep, that's correct. 12 turns in total. For me, too many right-hand turns. So we've also got a very special guest. He's been able to pull himself out of the sick bed. None other than our mate Carl. Evening, Carl. I'm not going to ask how you are because I know you're still pretty sore and you've made a big effort to join us here tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Matt. And good evening, everybody. It's good to be back here in the booth, even if it is here at Sonoma in the baking hot California sun. It is a absolutely roasting 45 degrees Celsius out on the track at the moment here at Sears Point. So that is going to really affect the drivers with the tyre temperature. This track is tricky enough on its own, but when you've got track temperatures up towards 45 degrees Celsius, it makes this place even harder.
Yeah, definitely. And I still reckon it's going to be a little slipperier than the old cars with the new tyre model. Um, it's just I just don't know how these boys are going to handle it. I think the likes of Daiso, maybe Stevie Williams, that he has found himself on the infield. You know, the guys that specially have come across from road racing and that are specialists in road racing, of course, will come out top.
Yeah, look, watch out for people like Heddershide, Hobson, of course. Hobbo will be strong here as well, one of those track racing specialists. Keep a bit of an eye out for Darren Lobb as well, of course, one of the DPR cars, really good on the tracks. But we have seen a big improvement from people like Foster and as well as the Mitch boys as well. Josh Micklemore's been having a decent run on the road courses, and you can never count out Skurlock as well. So there is a really good, strong field here tonight. But I think it's going to be probably it's going to be a tricky one to beat somebody like Andrew Dyson. I think he is going to be the man to beat here tonight. But we have seen in the past that he can and will make the odd mistake. And look, you make a mistake at Sonoma, and you're going to get caught out by a very, very nasty bit of dirt on the side of the road.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just in that warm up there, Carl, Brett the Hobson did a 1:15, so he's quick.
He is indeed. As we get ready to lay up the track, so let's go through the starting grid. It is on the front row. That man, Brenton Hobson, as we talked about, with Michael Skurlock on the outside. As I said, watch out for Skurley. He is quick on the road tracks. It's Neil Pearson and Foster on the second row. Dyson Traher on the third row. We have Heddershide and Jai Schultz on the fourth. Fifth row is Phelps and Martin. Sixth, we have Micklemore and Williams. Next up, it's Barry Neal and Lobb. Then Pritchard Malone, Aidan Schultz, and Maddie Ray himself, Mr. Christopher Finlay, Paul Jackson, Brad Allison, Norman Clark, Tristan Koch, Kobe Jordan, Justin Witcher, Jaeger, Wellman, Tompkins, and rounding out the 29 strong field is Nan Curvis tonight. So, quite a few cars a little bit further down the order than we might expect them to be. So, watch out for some people making their way through the field tonight. Could be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. I can tell you there, Carl. I was talking to the boys from Momentum Esports, and Ruben did said to me he just did not feel comfortable in that car on this track at the moment. So he'd have to be pretty happy to get up in the ninth spot for the start of the race.
Yeah, I think he's going to be. He had a pretty. Again, Phelps having a very solid qualifying effort. Interesting to see Jai Schultz deciding to start from pit lane rather than eighth position that he managed to get himself in. So he's decided to start from the pit lane itself. Full warm up lap here tonight as well, so that's a long way around. So we've got a little bit of time to talk. We might as well just quickly look at the championship standings while we're getting around for this pace lap. So it is at the moment Brenton Hobson in the lead of the championship, 16 points ahead of Andrew Dyson in second. It's Martin in third with Foster in fourth, 91 points off the lead for Foster. 95 points down is Micklemore in fifth. Neil Pearson drops down to sixth, 98 off the lead. Skurlock in seventh, 105 down. Then it's Wellman in eighth, having a solid year so far, 140 off the lead. Paul Jackson having another solid run as well in ninth position, 149 down. And Ruben Phelps, that man you were talking about before, in 10th position, 150 down in 10th place at the moment. So it's a lot of there's a big gap from first to 10th, but from fourth to sort of 10th position, it is really, really close stuff at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And we joined the front of the queue, pace cars in, and we'll get the green flag this time by.
As the cars loop around the drag strip on the outside there, you can see, and away they go. Hobson absolutely lightning off the start. He has got away very quickly like a scolded cat. Meanwhile, Neil Pearson trying to get up the inside of Skurlock. Will he make it? Not quite. Skurlock gets a big slide into the first corner. Cold tyres just catching him out a little bit. Although there's quite high track temperatures, the tyres are a little bit cool at the moment. So you just got to be a bit careful through these corners. And of course, the brakes as well will not be up to temperature yet.
No, look, Carl, I'd say the ideal thing would be just follow the leader at the moment, sit back, get some heat in those tyres, but not too much because you definitely don't want to overcook these and blister them. As we've seen in real life, some of the blisters that have been coming on these ovals, and just you've got to get everything up to temp because you don't want to go into a corner, put your foot on the brake, and find that you don't have any brakes, and that's the quickest way to find the grass, and then find the wall or facing the wrong way.
Yeah, very much so. It's just going back to have a look at the start a little bit further down in the field, and Adam Malone was very much caught out in that start with Stevie Dubb. Both of them just losing the car up through the S's, up through 3 and 4. Stevie Dubb losing the rear end, same as Malone. They both sort of went around with each other, and everybody managed to avoid those cars, which was good. Adam Malone, though, was the big loser out of that one as he ended up facing the wrong way, so he's dropped right down towards the back of the field.
I'll tell you what, Skurlock's doing a pretty good job there, finding himself in the second, and he's holding off the two TBR cars of Neil Pearson and Dyson. So well done there by Skurly.
Tell you what, the longer Skurlock sits in that position, the happier Hobson's going to be, because Hobson just set a 1:18 last time round. The rest of the field 1:20, 2 seconds faster on that lap for Brenton Hobson. That is a big, big time difference. And if he can pull out a nice bit of a gap here, that will be very useful for latter in this run, of course, for the Synergy Racing team driver. As you said, Skurlock's doing a great job of defending. He managed to hold off Pearson on that opening lap. Did very nice indeed, as we see one of the Southern Stars entries, and Darren Lobb there just battling it out through turn 11.
Yeah, good pass there by Lobb there. Nice clean pass. Plenty of room given there by, I think it was Tom Pritchard, the Southern Stars car, that left the door wide open for him.
Yeah, Pritchard had a good start. He's managed to make up a couple of positions.
sorry, we've got Raymond Jager into the pit lane already. I'm not quite sure what for. Just let me see.
I wonder if he's parking it up because he's had a pretty rough start to the race. So I wonder if he's just going to park it up for the night and just not worry, or is he just coming through?
He might be started parking.
He may have got he looks like he's coming into his pit bay.
He's
He's
parking
in the
it up.
pit box.
Yeah. I'm just going to jump back to a replay. Just noticed an incident mark against Josh Micklewell. I'm just wondering what it was. Just having a look here, see if we can see anything. Can't really see anything. He might have just got an off track.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Just a wheel in the dirt. I wonder if you can go back to the first lap. There it is.
There it was. Yeah, he had a spin.
Big moment as he came off of where was that, turn 6, I think? No, turn 5, sorry. Big moment there, just as he went back on the power, and just loops it around the rear tires. He's caught a bit too much curb there. Back end steps out completely. Car lifts up, and look, you got to be really careful around Sonoma. These curbs are very unforgiving as well, so that is something you got to really watch out for too.
Yeah, especially that one there, Carl. That's a huge drop off the backside and the front end of that curb. I know last week in the 87s, it caught me out once or twice, and I found myself facing the wrong way with oncoming cars.
Yeah, it's never fun to be looking in the wrong direction to a big group of angry cars. I was just about to ask Matt if you could go back to the first lap and have a little look at Adam Malone or Stevie Williams, just seeing if you can catch that spin, because those two both looping it on the sort of on the opening lap up towards turn 3, I think it was.
Yeah, I've got something here. I'll just play it and let's see what it is. Not sure if it's exactly what it was. That's definitely
just the end of it. Yeah, that's just the end there. So coming up here, Malone's just got up there. He's seen Stevie Dub spin in front of him, and I think he's just thought about avoiding action, and unfortunately, it's really caught him out. So a bit of a moment for both of those drivers, and you can sort of see he's seen that happening in front of him, and Matty Ray behind him, quick as a cat, just absolutely catches that one, saves it from the wall. One of his teammates.
Oh, sorry, Carl. I was going to say Paul Jackson was very lucky there not to nose it straight into the front of him.
Yep, some good driving there to save those cars, because that was a tricky one. We've got a driver out of the race now. It is Noddy Tompkins, unfortunately. He has got a lot of damage on the right front of that car. The wheel is completely.
That's the new damage model. Look at that.
Buggered.
Oh.
So he's had a big crash out of turn, just out of turn 6. So just coming through turn 7, just through the squiggly bits there, and he's gone straight into the barrier, and that's that new damage model in full action there. The wheel has been completely ripped off. That suspension is, in technical terms, buggered. So just a little bit before this. So just here. And there you go. Big hit there, and it's a lot of speed in that area as well. I think, he's come through there about 140, 150 kilometers per hour, and just hit a bit too much curb and just got caught out, unfortunately. Big impact, and that is his night over and done with.
Yeah, it's damaged that right front wheel, and it's it's big time damage there. There's a live shot. You can see his car. He's got a bit too much camber on that right front.
Yeah, that's it. It's you might be okay for something that's really slammed low to the ground, but it's not going to run very well with that one. Unfortunate there. Got the pleasure of meeting Noddy on the weekend, so it was nice. We had a bit of a catch up for the 53 for his birthday. A lot of the Adelaide boys catching up, so it was nice to meet quite a fair number of the drivers out there, so it was nice to meet everybody.
I just ducked down and had a quick word, Carl. Noddy is going to try and get the car back out there. So, yeah, he said he's been practicing all day, and he just got that double curb wrong there through the S's, and that spat him into the fence. So he's definitely going to try and get back out there.
Look, not a bad decision to make because obviously it's very early in the race. We've still got 37 laps remaining, and there is chances that a fair few more drivers may come unstuck in this race, and you can gain a few more spots and crucial championship points, of course. Jason Martin having a good run at the moment in ninth position. Nice to see the purple Mitch Motorsport car up in a decent position once more, just ahead of Barry Neal there. But Jason Martin, not really self-proclaimed, not really good on the old road courses, but he's still having a good run tonight, and it's been a bit of a rough season for him, but good to see him up there.
Yeah, look, you've got a lot of guys um, that don't like the circuit stuff. Myself, I'm not overly keen on it, but I'm going to say if you can get out here and just circulate and stay out of trouble, as you said, Carl, it's always good championship points, and that may mean the difference between a top 10 in the championship at the end of the season or a 25th position. So, I mean, guys say, oh, it's not worth it, I'm no good at it. Only way you're going to get better is to get out here and have a go at it.
That's the other thing as well, Mark, is you get to practice in race conditions as well. It's all well and good practicing in a practice session, but you don't have the same. It's not the same sort of knowledge you get when you're actually racing. You do get a lot more knowledge, as we
Who's that
see
on
there.
the outside there?
Tristan Koch, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that's Stevie Dubb gaining a position. Good run from Stevie Dubb, who had that spin at the opening start of the race. So he's working his way back up through the field. One of the veterans of ANZCAR, of course, a member of the 300 Club. He has been in that club for a bit of time, and one of the newest entrants, of course, is currently in second place with Mr. Michael Skurlock, with everybody's favourite paint job on that car, with the
handlebars.
Well, actually, yes, Michael clicked over 300 starts last night, and Stevie Williams, I think, has clicked over 350.
Yeah, I know Stevie Dubb was sort of late last year. I think he got into the 300s. So
that's right.
You know,
yep.
It's great effort, and it's great to see these guys sticking around. You know, there's a lot of guys that have been in ANZCAR for a long time, and it's nice to see them sticking in there and keeping up in the racing as well. It's great to see these guys around. He's got Norman Clark just on his tail as well. So Norman just having a bit of a moment, I think, because he's just lost a couple of spots. So he had a big moment down into turn 6. Just got a little bit late on the brakes and just couldn't quite get the car stopped in time and lost a lot of positions there for Norman Clark. So wasn't anything major, but it was enough to lose a good lot of positions for Norman.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can find it on the replay.
Yeah, so if we go back a little bit, just a tiny bit. Yeah. So that's pretty much it there. So I wonder if he got a slowdown or if he's just had a big moment on just not being able to get the car stopped. He lost a lot of speed and then just couldn't get the car up to speed through the S's and got passed by everybody. So it doesn't really look like a slowdown because it's sort of keeping up the speed. But yeah, a bit of an odd one there for Norman. Look, I'm sure he'll think of a good strategy and try and work his way back up. That's something we haven't mentioned yet tonight, of course, is strategy. Everybody's got enough to make it on fuel here at Sonoma. But the big question is tyres.
Well, yeah, I would imagine everyone would probably one stop it, split it in half.
Good little battle. Sorry, just jumping back to Brad Allison. He had the purple rimmed Paul Jackson all over the back of him with Maddie Ray. Just getting a bit late on the brakes there for Brad. Very close battle between these three, and then a little bit further back, Micklemore, Witcher, Schultz, and Williams all in a good little battle as well. So there's some good fights going on through the pack. But yeah, I think splitting it in half is probably the best idea. Although we might see somebody come in maybe a lap or two early, just try and get that undercut because tyre advantage will be quite useful here.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely here. You may even see some of them do a two-stop, but you'd have to be pretty desperate to do the two-stop.
Yeah, I'm desperate, or you have to be a driver like me.
I'm in the five-stop bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but they've certainly got nothing for Hobson at the moment. He is, I mean, he's 10 seconds ahead of second place already, so I don't think it really matters how many times you stop. He's going to pitch you.
His best lap is nearly a second faster than Dyson. Brenton's best lap was a 1:14.9, and Dyso's was a 1:15.6. So
we have had a past position because Skurlock has made a mistake going into the final corner, and that has given Dyson second place. Dyson's moved up past Pearson. Skurlock just braking a little bit late. He locked up his right front tyre, and that gave Dyso all he needed to get past, and Dyson is now on a bit of a charge. And I wonder if Dyson is going to be chasing down Hobson now because he might have just been saving a little bit of tyre. It looks like he got an easy pass done on his teammate Neil Pearson. And I just wonder if we're going to see Hobson starting to push a little bit now. Although Hobson is still very much the fastest car out on track. We'll see what Dyson can respond with.
Yeah, it looks like Hobson's last lap was half a second faster than Dyson's, and Dyson's was his fastest lap he's run of the race so far. Hobson's the only one to drop into the 1:14s. Dyson's in the 1:15.5 range.
And we are starting to see some lap traffic come into effect as well. Currently, Jamie Nankervis, Gary Wellman, and Jai Schultz all going down a lap. And this isn't a detriment to any of those drivers because I know how quick they are. All three of those drivers have got some really good road course skills. We saw Jai Schultz qualifying up in 8th position, so he's got some speed, but he's already fallen down a lap after 14 laps, and that just shows the pace of Hobson and Dyson. Those guys are extremely quick when it comes to these tracks and these cars, and it can be quite intimidating when you're out on track with people like that.
Yeah, definitely. The big thing that these guys have to watch is just position their car and give Hobson plenty of room and Dyson and Skurlock when they get to him. Not be a mobile chicane, and you'll find that a lot of the guys will be talking to each other over the race radio to say, hey, take me inside, take me wherever, and just trying to, as you see there, that car just knew he was going to get lapped and just pulled it up and let him go.
Tell you what, jump on board with Neil Pearson right now because he is all over the back of Skurlock. He is really putting the pressure on the 350, and these two battling is actually helping out the 53 of Foster at the moment. Foster, big slide there for Pearson, very well held. Just coming out of turn number 10, very fast right-hander there. As Skurlock again just goes a little bit deep into the final, sort of. I say the final corner, it's technically not, it's the second to last corner, but really is the proper final corner. It looks like Skurlock's starting to struggle with those rears a little bit. It looks like he might just have a little bit too much heat build up in those tyres because he's struggling a little bit. Maybe some of the braking as well because he's just doesn't look as confident on the brakes at the moment.
Oh, we've got a car in the grass. Who's that?
That's Noddy, I think.
Oh, he's got back out.
Yep, that's Noddy. He's just getting out the way to let the
Excellent.
drivers through as Pearson
And
makes the
Pearson,
move.
yep.
Good move.
Very nicely done. Pearson absolutely got a beautiful drive out of turn 5, got down the inside of Skurlock and positioned the car perfectly. Skurlock could not do anything more than he tried to defend that position.
I don't think Skurlock had anything there for him. Yeah, as you said, Carl, those rears look like they may be shot.
Yeah, he's really struggling at the moment and breaking a lot better this time into that second to last corner into turn 11. But he's definitely seeming to struggle a little bit with the pace. Speaking of pace, last time round, Brenton Hobson at 15 dead. Andrew Dyson at 16-1. Hobbo is absolutely flying. He is absolutely killing it here at Sonoma at the moment. Really, really good drive from Hobson. And look, we know he's quick. We know he's good on the road courses. He has come from the roads. But this is probably one of the best drives I've seen from Hobson in the Cup series so far on the road courses. Great to see that happening. Dyson, meanwhile, just can't really do anything. He's managed to keep the gap. Sort of the gap's around about 14 seconds, but he's not really able to do much to respond. But now Hobson is coming up to a huge amount of traffic. The battle with Stevie Dub onwards, really. And of course, one of the differences we're going to find here is, of course, it is a road course, so they do get the blue flag shown to them and just told that there is a faster car coming through.
Yeah, I think most.
And look,
Most of the
Matt.
guys. Yeah, I think most of the guys will let him through. They'll realise he's coming fast and no point fighting.
Beautiful move there from Stevie Dub, just showing all of that experience on Justin Witcher. He's stuck right behind Hobson and is using him to get past these cars as he locks up. That's not so good for Stevie Dub, but just a very cunning move there to get past Witcher. Very well done indeed. Nice to see that sort of that method of passing being used, because it is. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you might as well go for it. And I think Brad Allison there just getting caught out a little bit as well, because Maddie Ray just got past him nice and easy. So Maddie Ray just taking advantage, doing the same thing. So the veterans absolutely showing why they are veterans of the series. Just that little bit of extra knowledge and a little bit of extra cunning in their bank accounts. But there's a great battle going on behind Maddie Ray at the moment. It's absolutely nose to tail between him, Brad Allison, down to Witcher. So from 15th down to 20th.
Yeah, 6 cars lined up there, all in a row.
I know Brad was dreading tonight. He's just hoping that his internet doesn't play up again tonight, like it has been for most of the races. So we may see him drop out somewhere, but I know if he does, he'll try and rejoin straight away again.
Yeah, it's a big shame to have those technical issues for Allison. I mean, as we say, internet and computer trouble for sim racing is basically the same as sort of mechanical problems for full metal racing.
Well, Brad's been having issues. He hasn't had a phone or any phone service down where he lives. He lives on the south coast, New South Wales, and what's happened there is the Telstra tower has got burnt out in the fires, and they've decided to pick now to replace the whole tower. So that's his problem at the moment.
Yeah, he's back on the old copper line, isn't he? And it's
Yes.
not helping out at all, unfortunately. Great battle at the moment though with that pack. It is absolutely just chopping and changing. I'm just seeing Josh Micklemore now is on the move. He is trying his best to get up past her. He just got past Stevie Dubb. He's got Aidan Schultz in front of him at the moment, and now Norman Clark's getting into the battle as well. So this battle down towards the tail end of the pack is absolutely brilliant to watch. And it's the thing about sort of road courses like this is, you've got your extremely fast guys, but then a lot of them, a lot of the drivers are very similar on pace, and it's great to see that because the competition is so alive. And you can see there from pretty much from Jackson down to Clark, it is all go at the moment. Christopher Finlay's having a good run at the moment. He's managed to pull out a bit of a gap in the Sim Boys yellow flavoured version in the 104. He's sitting down in 13th position. Pritchard in 12th. Barry Neal currently in 11th. He's trying to chase down Jason Martin, who's doing a solid job tonight, as we said. Starting in 10th, staying in 10th at the moment. And self-proclaimed road course hater slash not very good at it. And he is doing a solid job tonight. Ruben Phelps up there in 9th, doing a very nice run. Darren Lobb as well, second South African contingent. Currently sitting in P8 from 14th. He's having a nice run, trying to chase down Luke Trahere at the moment, who's currently sitting in 7th in the Way Down sponsored Nightcrawl Racing entry. Then we move up to 6th position, and it is Natari's Daniel Hederscheid sitting in 6th position, just behind teammate Edward Foster in 5th at the moment, who is catching up to Skurlock very slowly. So those two have been setting similar pace, but they have been sort of just getting up towards each other, and you get the feeling that we've got 25 laps remaining. We might see Foster possibly come in for a slightly earlier stop, try and get the undercut.
In the pits.
Justin Witcher has come in, so Justin Witcher is the first of those guys to stop. So he has decided to come in. He was towards the tail end of that battle, a bit further down. So he's going to try and take advantage of the undercut. Of course, that does mean he has a couple more laps to go towards the end, and those tyres will start falling off. Who's that in the background?
Was that
Brad Allison has had a big spin up the top of the hill, just out of turn 3. Sorry, turn 2.
I think you may have also find that Dyson's had a little bit of an off there down through that main straight.
Dyson collected Allison, so that's what's happened. So Allison's gone round, and then Dyson has come up over the hill. It's a blind crest up there as well. So jump on board with Dyson, Matt. So we see Allison having the spin here. If we jump on board with Dyson here, if we go back a little bit, you'll see that it's a blind crest here. There's a big bar, there's a roll bar in the way, so you wouldn't have seen that. And he's collected Brad Allison there, unfortunately, for himself and for Brad. Really nowhere to go, and luckily everybody else managed to kind of avoid that, I guess. But that was a fairly hefty hit for the 41, and I reckon that's gonna hurt him. We're gonna see how effective the new damage
damage model. Yeah. See how the damage model is. Right front looks alright. It's not too bad.
It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look like there's a great deal of damage there. And now he's giving Stevie Dubb the hurry up.
Stevie will let him through. Yeah. Looks like as well with Justin Witcher it was just a splash as well. It doesn't look like drivers are going to be taking tyres. Just a note in the chat from Ryan Jones, who unfortunately couldn't make the race tonight. He reckons you're not taking tyres, so there's no undercut or overcut to worry about. You're just getting a splash and dash, so it's all about how you hit pit road, getting on and off pit road as fast as you can, really, and without getting a penalty.
Hey, interesting.
That right front of Dyson's looks not too bad, actually. It was a pretty big hit, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think he just managed to he got lucky with that one. Of course, one of the things it can do is cause, if there's sometimes when you get that little bit of damage on there, it can cause a little bit more wear on a tyre than you can expect. So that could possibly affect him latterly, especially if they are just looking at a
Um,
splash and dash just to get to the end.
Paul Jackson's in pit lane and he's taken tyres.
He's taken
Yeah.
to us.
He's taken 4 tyres.
We'll see what a difference this makes. So Jackson stopped 15 seconds, Witcher 6.1 seconds, Jai 6.6 seconds. Kobe Jordan, he took tyres as well. So Norman Clark as well took tyres. So there's a slight split on the strategy.
Yeah,
Um,
just looking through the data or the timing stuff that I'm looking at. The drop off is not there really.
no, I mean, well, Brenton Hobson just set the fastest lap of the race. So
Yeah, and if you look at the guys down lower down the field, they're sort of like about maybe a second off their sort of best times, from the last lap around. So, yeah, tire drop off is virtually not really a thing.
well, one of the things though, even though, data wise, there's not really any tire drop off, it can sometimes be a mental thing as well. Sometimes, you do get that little bit for drivers, and mentally they sort of go, oh, the tires are feeling awful right now. I need to get some fresh tires. So they get those fresh tires, and then they're more comfortable to the end of the race, and they get that speed back. As
Ooh,
Hobson and Pritchard very close to each other there.
it wasn't the easy way to go around, unfortunately. But he's got through okay nonetheless.
Hobson was sitting on a lump of coal. I think we would have had a diamond in that car by now.
Yeah. I was like, hurry up and get out of my road, I'm coming.
Yeah, he's got a 20-second lead over second place, so he can take it easy.
The thing here, Carl, is if you're in Hobson's spot, would you be backing off, or would you keep that pressure on and say, "Come get me, boys"?
What happened there?
Big moment for Foster, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and have a look and see what happened there.
So he's just coming into the corner, and he's got traffic there, and he's just gone down the inside, and he's just tapped the 52 of Schultz, I think that is.
He's a little bit of a yeah.
Yeah, so he's sort of going for. It looks like Aiden Schultz is sort of getting out the way, and Aiden Schultz has not really seen Foster, and Foster is sort of not really. A little bit of a clumsy incident, I'd say, from both drivers.
Yeah, it looks like he might have locked the rears up a little bit as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah,
And
it looks
he
that's
had a
like
little bit of a lock as well, so he's
yeah,
locked up, and the back end stepped out too. So he's
yeah.
locked the rear because he's seen that Schultz has taken the tighter apex. So Foster's jammed on the brakes as hard as possible, and that's caused the rear to lock up. And then he's just given a nice little tap. No damage to either car really, so nothing really, no issue really there because that would have just been a little bit of door-to-door contact. I think the only thing it will have done is scuff the paint slightly, um, but but yeah, that could have been nasty. But luckily, both drivers got away with that a-okay. Foster is still catching on Skurlock. The gap is just about 2 seconds now between those two, so they are
Yeah.
catching each other.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow lap that one, obviously with that issue that Foster had. But yeah, so it's also jumping up to 2 seconds now.
It will be interesting to see if somebody like Foster does take tyres to see if there is any little bit of extra pace in that. As we said, it's from the looks of things not looking like it. And we do know that with these cars as well, that they suffer from cold tyres. Sometimes it's better to have the temperature in your tyres than having
oh,
old ones. Heddershide.
He's come to a stop.
Daniel Heddershide has come to a stop. Looks like a technical issue there for
Yeah.
Heddershide. That looks very much like a screen failure or a failure of some kind of visual optics there for Daniel. He's just come out of turn 5, I think it is, turn 6, sorry. and he's just pulled over to the side and just tapped the wall. So that very much looks like a failure of some kind of. No, sorry, it was up towards the front, so it was. It was 10-5. Sorry. So yeah, very much looks like a failure of the possibly. I don't know if Daniel runs VR, but possibly a monitor.
Does he run VR?
Yeah.
Either VR or screen's gone off or something like that. So
some equipment failure, yeah, that's for sure. Kind of the like a real life equivalent to what happens with the real cars where stuff goes wrong, like a blind engine or something.
That's it. It's as we say, you know, when you have technical failures with your equipment, it's kind of like a mechanical failure for the real car, for the full metal racing cars. It's very much a similar situation.
Yeah. Just I reckon, oh man. So Hobson's lapped up to 8th place now. He might be pretty good to lap up to 5th place, I think, going on the current speed at the moment and the amount of laps left.
He's definitely got the burn in the wick. He's not slowing down any.
No, there's a big gap between 5th and 6th. There's 22 seconds. Actually, we'll check up the graphic and we'll be able to see that. We can see there, Foster in 5th place, 30 seconds behind the lead, but Trujillo in 53 seconds behind the leader. He's probably in danger of being lapped with the pace that Hobson's got at the moment. 18 laps to go. So, yeah, it's pretty dominant performance so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys ducking in the pit lane now.
Yeah, they're probably just coming in for a splash. I think we've got the camera on Martin, so he's coming in for a splash.
Yeah, we had Phelps come in last lap round as he came in for a bit of a splash of fuel. I wonder if we'll see Martin take some tyres here, or if he's just going to just pop a little bit of extra go juice in the tank. I'm surprised because I heard from the drivers that they thought they would be okay on fuel, but obviously it's one of the things you find as well in practice sessions as well. You sort of you find when you're practicing out there, you tend to use a little bit less fuel sometimes, and when you get into the race, sometimes the fuel mileage is a little bit more than you expect.
It looks like it must have been a technical issue for Daniel, because he's back out there now.
Yep. He's only dropped one lap, 17th place.
Yeah, he should. Be interesting to see how far he can get back. So we know he's got some pace in that car. He is. I'm just waiting for my timing screens to update, but I think he's about 2 seconds behind Tristan Koch. So he's going to catch up to the. He's going to catch up to the battle between. A fair few of those drivers, so even Micklemore and Matty Ray and stuff like that.
Sorry, I just replied to a chat. Let's have a look and see if we can see some battles. Darren Lobbs, only 1.9 seconds behind Luke Trujillo. Tom Pritchard, there we are. There's a good battle. He's right on the back of Barry Neal there. Battling for position for the Barry's in 8th position and Tom is in 9th.
A good run from Pritchard tonight. A little bit of a couple of little hairy moments, but he's having a good run there and solid race up there as well. Darren Lobb as well. We've seen, we know that he is good on the road courses, so not a surprise to see him having a good run out there. He's, part of DPR, and we know that they tend to be pretty good on the old left and right turny circuits. But yeah, some good drives so far out there. And a few good battles out there as well. And it's the thing of it. It settles down a little bit at this sort of stage of the race. It's things start to ease off a little bit as gaps start to form. There's only 15 laps remaining. So interesting to see that the top 10 haven't come in for fuel yet, so
Yeah.
so I wonder how long they're going to last, and I wonder if they, as I said, it seems like it was only a quick splash and dash, and I heard a few drivers saying that they could make it to the end on fuel. So I wonder if a few of those drivers have been doing a little bit of lifting and coasting, a little bit of fuel saving, try and make it to the end without coming into pit lane.
Yeah, they could be trying to. Um, yeah, I don't, I don't know. I don't know the fuel burn numbers, unfortunately. That's a bit of information I don't have in my my stuff here. But yeah, it's pretty spread out. I'm just having a little look through here for the intervals between cars and stuff, looking for sort of closest sort of battles. Sort of this one here with the Barry Neal and Tom Pritchard one, half a second roughly. Although Tom's just got a good run there, closing up. Yeah, it's definitely pretty spread out through the field at the moment.
Yeah, it's sort of at that stage where everybody's sort of starting to just spread out that little bit, and they've got into their rhythm as well. So that makes it a little bit tricky. I tell you what, one driver to keep an eye on though will be Heddershide, as he's working his way up through the field. As Once he starts getting some pace back in that car, I think he will start catching up to people like Micklemore. And that could be an interesting fight when it actually gets to it.
Yeah, he might be able to get back to the top 10. He's in 16th at the moment, and for 14 laps. Yeah,
He'll go close. He'll go close. But
yeah, he'll go close to getting back to the top 10, but I don't think he'll crack it.
Well, it depends if those guys come in for a pit stop as well. I mean,
he's already done his. Yeah, that's right.
because he's had to come in, he had to tow, of course, so he lost a lot of time. But he will have been able to top up on fuel, and he'll be pretty much okay. And probably, I probably took some fresh tires as well, being that it was a tow. Probably, I mean, there's no harm in taking them. Barry Neal in pit lane, so Barry Neal has come into the pit lane. So
The worry for Heddershot though is Hobson's just catching up right up behind him to put him 2 laps down.
Barry's taking rights.
I think Neil's going for all tyres. Yeah,
Yep,
he's
all
going for
four.
all 4. So just looking at times so far for the drivers that took tyres, no real pace advantage to be shown. Stevie Dubb took tyres, Paul Jackson took tyres, Kobe Jordan took tyres, and Norman Clark. And they're a good couple of tenths off of the drivers that didn't take tyres. So as strange as it seems, again, as we said, it's almost like tyre temperature is more of a key for this new generation of car than actual amount of rubber left on the old on the tyres.
And this, you got to remember too, Carl. This place is very sandy. It's out in the desert, so the track gets a lot of sand on it. So probably that stickiness of the tyre would be helping a little bit more than fresh rubber.
Oof.
Yeah, of course. Up on Mount Sonoma, in California, of course, and Sears Point track. Fairly, well, it's a very historic track. I mean, it's been around since the 60s. Sonoma. It's not everybody's favourite course, but it's a track that has seen quite a lot of action over the years, and honestly, it's a track that I actually quite like racing on, which I think I'm in the very few, the minority.
Yeah, especially for ANZCAR. Very small minority there. But,
Yeah,
it's a very, it's very unique.
it is. It's a very tricky track, of course. Without the boot there and having the chute this year, it does change it up a little bit. That you've not got that big, sort of almost almost oval-esque corner that you have when you come down from turn 4. If you've got the actual boot in there, of course, it's got a very high banked corner on it. But that corner would catch a lot of drivers out, and that's one of the trickiest corners there is, I think. And this layout tends to make it, for me at least, it's a little bit easier to drive on. We've got here Micklemore just getting out the way, is he? Or is he having a battle with Treher?
No, he's just getting out of the way there, yeah. Micklemore's 1 lap down and Treher's still on the lead lap.
Just jump into Christopher Finlay at the moment because he's got Jason Martin all over the back of him. Finlay has not stopped yet. So Finlay, I think, is fuel saving and Martin has got fuel to burn. So this is the difference in strategies playing out. So Christopher Finlay gained a few spots by staying out, but now Ruben Phelps has got past him. Jason Martin's got past him. So those drivers that have come in to take fuel, they are able just to put a little bit more pace down and just able to not have to worry about saving. So interesting to see the different strategies playing out here. Meanwhile,
Finley's pitting now, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's coming in for his splash.
Could not make it to the end, and that's going to hurt him a bit because he's going to drop a fair few places. Good run for Finlay. He's managed to make 9 places, and a driver that we don't often talk about, Chris Finlay. He's one of the sort of quieter drivers in the Sim Boys lineup. I love racing the Sim Boys because they always race hard. Hobson in pit lane as well. So Hobson, importantly, is coming into pit lane. So this is really, really interesting now for the actual leader of the race because this tells me that if Hobbo is pitting, then I think everybody else needs to come in for a quick splash as well. Darren Lobber's coming to pit lane too. Will we see Dyson coming into pit lane as well this time round? Or will he stick it out? Has he got enough fuel to stick it out there just to get a bonus point for a lap led? Yes, he has. So Dyson is sticking it out there.
And Hobson's fuel only. Finlay took 4 tyres, but yeah, Hobson's fuel only.
Hobson's managed to make it out in front of Dyson. So Dyson does not even get a point for a lap led there. Hobbo has managed to get a pit stop in the bag as well. So that just shows how quick he has been tonight. Just a great drive from Hobbo.
And he's come out with still a 6-second gap.
That's unreal. His pace is unreal.
And it's just, it's not much damage to Daiso, but you've got to wonder if that damage is affecting him a little bit because he's got Neil Pearson all over the back of him. We know Pearson is not slow on the road tracks, but he's not really able to. He was pulling away from Pearson earlier on in the race, but now he's not really able to do anything. A little bit further back, Michael Skurlock is still.
Treher fuel only.
Dyson's in. Dyson is in pit lane.
Okay, sorry, I was just looking and I'm like, Skurlock has got a huge. Skurlock's got a huge gap over Foster. Foster's taken his stop, so Foster's coming for fuel.
Skurlock's in now too.
So Pearson stuck it out. So Pearson is staying out for 1 lap longer. So Pearson, big slide for Pearson up over the top of the hill of turn 2. But Pearson,
and Dyson's missed his pit box.
He went forward and had to come back.
That's going to hurt him a little bit. And also, it looks like Dyson is. That's cost him a lot of time, though. Yeah. Fuel only, but it cost him an awful lot of time.
He might have got some damage repaired, yeah, because he took
20 seconds.
He's lost a position to Skurlock.
Yeah. 22 seconds in pit lane.
Yeah, he was stationary. Dyson was stationary for 13.1 seconds. So he was a good 6 seconds slower than Skurlock. So Skurlock's managed to get past Dyson. So Skurlock has got past Dyson. And Dyson's got Foster now all over the back of him as well. So Foster now in a bit of a reverse role, what we saw in the Xfinity cars at Belle
Belle
Isle.
is what you're thinking of, yeah. This time Foster's trying to chase him down.
Pearson is coming in for his stop. So Pearson is in pit lane. Getting a little bit of fuel in there, but gotta say Pearson is looking good for a P2. As Dyson's in pit lane again.
I think he's got a drive through.
Dyson has.
Oh, wow.
That has just gone from bad to worse for Dyso. When it rains, it pours, and obviously just took a bit too much speed through pit lane and got pinged for speeding, and that is his race over and done with. No, he's coming in to stop.
I wonder if there was maybe an issue with his pit stop and he couldn't get the fuel in it. This time around.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
or a stop and go penalty maybe?
Looks like possibly. Yeah.
16-second pit stop. Yeah.
Yes. So that's yeah, not sure on that one. Because possibly there was no tires taken, there was nothing like that, so obviously it wasn't a puncture or anything like that. It was just I was pondering if maybe he got a meatball for something, but there was no obvious reason, so
yeah, very unusual.
Very strange. Yeah.
And it wasn't the normal stop go is 46 seconds, so it definitely wasn't a stop go.
Very unusual. We'll have to find out during the week what the story was with that, unfortunately. But that's taken him. It's dropped him down to 7th now and a lap down as well. So that's a top 3 run he would have had. That unfortunately now he's going to have to settle for a top 10 run.
Yeah, he's dropped down behind teammate Darren Lobb as well. So he's dropped down a fair few positions. He's dropped all the way down to 7th. So that's moved Luke Traher up into 5th. Foster up into 4th. Skurlock up into 3rd position. So Skurlock having a great run at the moment, up in 3rd. So he's having a really nice run out there. He's trying to chase down Pearson, which he's not really managing at the moment. Pearson's still just a couple.
Well, that's going to help Mr. Hobson a great deal in the championship standings. With Dyson dropping down to where he is, it's going to put a big gap between him and Dyson in the championship now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's just going to extend that lead for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is it. It's Hobson's. He had a very unlucky start to the season, and we saw it took a while for him to get that first victory under his belt. We saw that big moment at Phoenix between himself and Daniel Hederscheid, of course, where Hobson was looking like he was very much coming to his first ANZCAR victory in the Cup, and then it all went wrong. But ever since then, things have gone a lot better for him, and he has definitely been on an absolute streak recently.
Yeah. I mean, he's still got those old tyres on there, and he's still a good half a second a lap quicker than the next closest person, 2nd place.
Yeah, he is. He's still in the 14s, which is just crazy pace in a NASCAR. You know, I mean that's. I mean, I'd be pretty happy with a 114 in a GT car, let alone an ASCAR.
Yeah.
So it's it's just showing the absolute pace there for him. Battle going on between Aiden Schultz and Christopher Finley at the moment.
Yeah, Aiden used that opportunity where they both moved aside to let the leader through. Aiden smartly used that opportunity to pass Finley there for position for 14th.
And watch out for Maddie Ray as well. Maddie Ray all over the back of Finley now. So the SRM mobile brake mechanical car, sponsored of course also by the Maid of Auckland pub here in Adelaide. If you fancy a quick bevy, go down to there and hop in. You never know, you might catch Maddie Ray down there. But he is absolutely trying his best to catch up to Schultz to Finley at the moment. Not quite there, but he's doing a good job to try. But yeah, it's been a bit of a change of form. I mean, as I said, coming into this race, it was, we would say, Hobson would have been strong, but I think we were all calling, very much it's Dyson's race to lose, and he's just not really had the pace, and obviously that little shunt earlier on did not help things out.
So it looks like
And
also as well, just something that's been brought to my attention, the 31 car of Josh Mickelmore has not pitted.
No, it has not. So he's been saving fuel. Um, he's
Oh, he's pitting now. Here we are. Here he is.
he
He's
tried. He
Yeah,
tried.
3 laps short, so he'll have a really quick splash and dash.
I'll tell you
I
what,
think-
those tyres on Hobson's car must be getting second hand, because he just gone into that hairpin at the bottom of the track there, and it's slight lock up, and you're starting to see the slight lock up here and there for him.
Yeah, you say that he's just set the fastest lap of the race.
I think he's just pushing as hard as he can. So there's Josh's splash and dash, 5.5 seconds there for his
He's
pit stop.
almost down into the 13s, 14.199 for Hobbo there. Almost down into the if he can get into a 113, that is that's silly pace.
He's certainly going to try. Let's ride on board with him.
Yeah, let's go for. We'll talk you through a lap as well. We'll see the white flag come out, but we'll talk through a lap here of Sonoma on board Hobbo as he's just coming up to lap one of the Aotearoa cars there. Aotearoa cars of
Aotearoa.
Yeah, you can pronounce it for me. That
That's all right.
This is why we have a Kiwi in the booth at all times. So here we are coming round for the final lap. So Sonoma, tricky place. You got the very, very tight section here. The drag strip on the outside coming up towards turn 1 here. Pretty much just lifting off into this corner and then braking uphill now into turn 2. This right-hander taking a little bit of curb, getting on the exit. Not too much. Get on the power nice and early. There's a bit of a dip here up to turn 3 and 4. Getting through here nicely. Take a nice big bit of curb. Drift out towards the outside, going down towards turn 5. Take the inside, get a little tiny bite of the curb, go all the way across, keep close to the wall here, down to turn 6. Again, drop it down into first gear, get around here for the S's, little bit of curb, don't take too much curb through this little section here, very easy to lose it. Get through here nicely, just got to ease the car through here gently, get the car through these quick S sections of 7, 8, 8A, 9, down towards turn 10, little dab of the brakes, just get it in there, just get the car turned in nicely, all the way towards turn 11 now, big braking zone, down to first gear, take a nice bit of curb, get the car turned in, little bit of lap traffic in front, but this is coming up to the checkered flag now, final corner, and Brenton Hobson takes a well-deserved victory, a mega run from Brenton Hobbo Hobson, and he does get down into the 13s, a 13.9 in that lap.
That is unbelievable.
It looked fast, yeah. Just riding on board there, it looked fast. It was, first 1:13.906, best lap of the race for him and everybody really.
And I'll tell you what, Ed will be happy with that, up in the 4th finally. Dyson finally home for 7th by the look of it. So
Yes.
he will not be happy with that.
Still a few cars. So as Pearson comes across for 2nd, Skerlock's 3rd, Foster's about to come across in 4th. Just keeping an eye on the cars, obviously where they're on track, they're still racing. So Pritchard, this is a battle for 10th spot here, Heddershell in the 035, and Pritchard in the 15 car. So this is actually a battle for 10th place.
Both have got a nice little slide through there.
Pritchard's gonna hold out there. Good solid 10th place finish there, and that's it. I think that's Jamie Nankervis is in the pit, so yeah, that's everybody across the finish line now.
That's a pretty good drive by Hadashid to get back to 11th.
Yeah, we knew he was going to be close getting back there once everybody sort of pitted and stuff. So yeah, that was really good.
So to give you a bit of an idea on that lap time, I mean, obviously, slightly different layout, but the full circuit itself, one of the fastest laps unofficially was the W07 hybrid Mercedes, driven by Gutierrez. This was the longer circuit with that little bit of a loop inside, but that was a 1:15. So it's crazy how fast that lap was. I mean, considering how much faster a Formula One car is compared to an ASCAR, even with that little bit of extra layout, that is an incredibly fast lap. So really, really good job and great job. I mean, look, Hobbo has absolutely dominated
Dominated that
start
one, that's for
finish.
sure. Yeah, it's that's one of the most dominant displays I've seen. That's for sure. We'll check out the results screen and we'll just quickly go through that. So, right. So in first, obviously Hobson first place there. Second place was Neil Pearson. Third, Michael Skurlock. Fourth, Edward Foster, followed by Luke Trahere, Darren Lobb, Andrew Dyson recovered back into seventh after those issues, which we'll have to find out what those were. Ruben Phelps, pretty quiet but solid run there for Ruben in 8th spot. Jason Martin finishing in 9th. I know he'll be pretty happy with that, not a road course fan. And Tom Pritchard, yeah, sort of 10th place finish there. 11th place, Daniel Hedeshow, a good recovery with what was obviously probably technical issues, we think. Aidan Schultz, good solid run, 12th place. Christopher Finlay, 13th. Matthew Raymond, 14th. Justin Witcher, 15th. Followed by Jay Schultz in 16th. Then Josh Micklemore, Stephen Williams, Kobe Jordan, and Paul Jackson in 20th. Norman Clark came home in 21st spot. Tristan Koch in 22nd, followed by Gary Wellman, Adam Malone, Barry Neal, Jamie Nankervis, Brad Ellison in 27th, Noddy Tompkins in 28th, and Raymond Yeager in 29th. And that is your results.
Big shout out to Justin Witcher gaining 10 positions in that race. Very good run from him for the 24/7 Sim Services ANZCAR Cup race. So really good job from Justin Witcher tonight. But yeah, fantastic drive from Brenton Hobson. And look, I think Jason Martin's going to be dead happy with that result. I mean, he's not had the best luck in these cars, but a really strong result here, especially on the road course. Ruben Phelps, again, a nice solid drive for him.
He'll be absolutely ecstatic with that.
Yeah, that's it. And another good shine for Darren Lobb as well. Darren Lobb, of course, rookie season in the Cup. We've seen him get a podium in ANZCAR. So he's going to be, again, another solid finish for him. So it's a good job for him and, another solid run for him. So he's been having a very steady first season and definitely coming along leaps and bounds.
Indeed. How are we looking for the green room?
So it looks like we've got a few drivers up there. So what we might do is we'll grab up our third place man, Mr. Michael Skurlock. We will grab up the BMX bandit himself. He's a bandit of many things, but BMX is his speciality. Mr. Michael Skurlock, congratulations on a podium finish here at Sonoma and a fairly good run for yourself tonight.
Yoo-hoo! It's been a while, Carly. Good to see you out, mate, and back into it.
Oh, look, I mean, that's the only reason you got a podium tonight, isn't it? So you can talk to me.
I needed to get up here, mate. I haven't talked to you in a while. No, it was good, man. Like I felt way more at home tonight. Mainly because the tyres. I don't know if there's some problem with the tyres or whatever, but they just just indestructible, mate. You just keep going. And you don't change tyres in the pit stop. You just keep going and you do faster laps throughout the whole race, which is, I kind of like that. I'm not that good at saving the tyres, and that's what kept me with Neil at the end there anyway.
Yeah, well, we saw you had some good pace out there tonight. I mean, obviously qualifying, getting up into second place in qualifying, that was a brilliant lap in quali at least.
Yeah, man. Yep. I don't know. Sometimes here, especially here, I somehow always manage to pull a front row start. I never get first, but I will get second. But it normally doesn't matter because normally there's faster guys behind me. I just beat them in qualifying, and then they're just knocking on my back door the whole time, and then I get scared and start driving stupid and can't save my tyres. But like I said, today the tyres weren't really a problem, so no, I liked it. It was good fun.
A gentleman always comes second, Skirley, as we know. So look, second place on the grid, a nice position to be in. But race-wise, I mean, you were hung on there really well. You kept pace with Pierce, and you kept them behind you pretty much the whole race. We saw you having a little bit of trouble in the mid stages. It looked like you were struggling a little bit in turn 11.
Yeah, a couple of overshoots into that last hairpin, and then I started pushing wide, and like I saw that Dyson and Neil swapped positions, so I think Dyson wanted to have a go at me because I knew I was slower than them at some points, but I was faster at others, so they couldn't pass me. And then I made a little bit of an overshoot, and then Dyson got under me, and I was like, well, go for it, man. I could try and race you and kill you right here, but I was happy just to let him go. I was held him off for a bit, as long as I could, I guess.
No, look, congratulations tonight. A strong, solid finish for you at Sonoma, a track that's not everybody's favourite, but you tend to do well here, and another solid finish for the series as well. So, congratulations. The usual thing, Mr. Skirley, of shout out and love to sponsors and people, and just generally shouting out that beautiful face of yours.
Oh, appreciate that, mate. I was just saying, I was looking good tonight on the stream. Check it out. BMX Bandits, of course. Performance E streaming. All you boys for coming and doing the commentary tonight, and for everyone who's been filling in for you too. They've been doing a good job. And to all the other competitors. Shout out Davo having a camp. Pretty lucky he wasn't here to smoke us all again this year. So he thought he was going to take a night off, go camping instead.
I mean, look, we know if Dave Douglas was here, he would have won. Hobson would have not had a chance. I know it's Douglas's speciality track. We have to keep him away from this place. He's just too quick, apparently. But just quickly, Skirlikin over on Twitch, isn't it?
Yeah, Skirlikin. I'm back on the Twitch for a while. I think I get more love over there.
Yeah, just give it a check out, and look, always a pleasure.
Start taking clothes off soon though, if no money starts rolling in.
Please no.
I've been working out, so it's all right.
I look forward to the OnlyFans sponsorship on the car. It's that's an exciting part of Skirley's career to come. Look, congratulations tonight, Skirley. Have a great night, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
Cool, thank you, boys. Bye bye.
Next up, we will grab Mr. Neil Pearson of DPR, second place finisher tonight, the number 9 of Neil Pearson. Neil Pearson, welcome back to the commentary booth. Welcome back to the podium, and congratulations on a strong finish here at Sonoma in P2.
Thanks, Carl. It's good to hear your voice in the commentary booth.
Oh, it's good to be back, and look, we got some good racing out there tonight. We got some good action, and we saw you having to put in a lot of work out there behind the wheel.
Yeah, it was interesting. The car was good to drive, and the complete opposite to what it was at Coda. There was just no tire wear. It was really weird. I'm not really a fan of it because it just felt like you could just drive it. It was like a GT car just cruising around, and yeah, not a fan, to be honest, with the current build.
It's an interesting one. We saw that there was literally no tire drop off, and we saw some people actually changing tires and actually lose pace from that as well, which is extremely weird. It's an interesting one. Obviously, feel you needed to get that little bit of a top up tonight. We saw you managed to make it a little bit longer than some of the other drivers. Coming in for your stop though, was that because you were pretty much out of fuel, or was that just you decided it was time to come down pit lane?
Yeah, that was as long as I could go on fuel. I think others probably went a bit earlier or something. I just thought I was trying to jump Dyson in the pit stop. Thankfully, he managed to do that for me with a pit speeding penalty. So yeah, I was just trying to get an extra bit quicker lap and see if I could jump him or not. The first time I've ever, raced him at a road course, so it was pretty good.
No, we saw that, and we saw you having a really good go. I mean, obviously, we did wonder what happened to Daiso, and we sort of surmised that it was possibly a bit of a penalty down in pit lane. But you had some really good pace for him tonight, and some really good battles. We saw you having a good fight with Skurlock as well, and just getting the better of him. Just in turn 11, I think it was, where you finally got that little bit of a squeeze as he made a bit of a mistake, but you kept the car in the right places at the right time.
Yeah, basically, I was just doing everything I could. I think I got him in the turn 6 hairpin. Um, he made a pretty big mistake into 5, so I had the run on him. But yeah, I was just basically, with recent events, I was just doing everything I could to make sure I didn't hit anyone. So yeah, I was just cruising, hoping he was going to make a mistake, and yeah, once he did, I managed to slide through, and yeah, I didn't actually get as far away from him as I thought I would. He kept up really well, so yeah, it's good to jump him though.
Speaking of hitting somebody, coming up over the crest of turn number 2 when Brad Allison had that big moment, we saw Daiso didn't make it through, but you absolutely did one of the best avoiding jobs of the race, getting past that one. That was a bit of a scary moment.
It was. I heard Daiso yell out, even though I think just having that extra second or something that I was behind him, I was just able to just open up the steering and get it around. So I was pretty lucky. So I didn't, I saw him just as Daiso was yelling out and worked out for me.
Yeah, it was a very, very close moment, and you just got through there by the skin of your teeth. But a really nice avoiding job as well. Obviously, sort of, it looks like maybe in the sort of earlier stages, did you let Dyson get past to have an attack of Skurlock, or was that more of just Dyson just catching you napping through the S's?
I made a big mistake, and so he had the run on, so I was like, yeah, I'll just let him through. And I think, as the history will show, he's a lot quicker than me on the road, so I expected him to pass Skirley and then disappear off into the distance. And when I eventually got past Skirley, he didn't. I was like, oh, okay, something's going on here.
Well, it's nice to see, and it's good to see that form returning on the road courses as well for you. Because after Kota, obviously, it must have been a bit of a sort of a little bit of a shock to you, just having that little bit of lack of pace. Because we know that you're very quick on the old road courses.
Yeah, I hate Coda. It's one of my worst tracks I think
You're
ever.
not alone.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like it's just I struggle with slow 90-degree corners, but this track for some reason I seem to do okay. So it's one of my better tracks when it comes to pace against my teammates, which is nice for me, I think.
It's always nice when you can beat your teammates. It's a very
Yeah.
good feeling. I mean, good night as well for DPR, of course, with Lob there in 6th place, and of course Dyson finishing obviously not in his probably preferred place in 7th, but a strong showing from the team as well. And you must be pretty happy with that as well.
Yeah, Darren did really well. I mean, he actually has a league race right before this one, so he didn't actually get any free practice, and qualifying was his first lap around the track. So for him to come up through and nab 6th, then Steve, he struggles a little bit on the road courses. So 18th, pretty decent for him, and
He had
nice.
he had a big spin at the start as well, so he had a good recovery drive. So
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's
yeah.
great recovery drive. So.
Yeah. No, look, congratulations tonight, Neil. It's good to have you back up here in the booth. Good to see you back out on track as well. Before
Yeah.
we let you go, the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast. Looking forward to watching the road courses. They're always interesting to watch. And then just simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Ben Max Mechanical, Phoenix Smokers, NP Designs, and just my teammates for the fun. And yeah, we had a big race on the weekend that we didn't do too well at, but it's good just having that camaraderie that we're able to just go out and just race and have fun with each other.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all about having fun, isn't it, really? I mean, obviously it's nice to win, but if you can have fun, if things go wrong and you can still have fun, that's always a good mark. So, congratulations on P2 tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth soon.
Yeah, hopefully it's a speedway next week, so I do really well at those this year, so I'm
We'll
hoping
see.
for another good result.
We'll see how that one goes. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So, look, hopefully, we'll get you back in the booth very, very shortly. Thank you so much, Neil.
Thanks, Carl.
And finally, for Synergy Sim Racing, it is the number 88, the SRM machine, and the car that, well, absolutely blitzed the field tonight. Mr. Brenton Hobson. Hobbo, welcome back to the broadcast booth. Congratulations on one of the most dominant victories we have seen in a long time.
Hey, thanks, Carl. It's good to be back. It's good to be talking to you and back in here again. It feels like forever. Yeah, no, it was. It was a good night. The car was really good. It hooked up, and I was surprised actually that I had that sort of pace over everybody. I assumed that maybe some people were going to be really brave and try and fuel save it because they were so much sort of time difference on the um, a lap basis, but then they all had to pit as well. So I just had good speed. But I'll take it. I love this track. I mean, this combination, or the old NASCAR, or any NASCAR, I should say, Sonoma combination is probably one of my absolute favorites. So I was looking for redemption tonight. The Coda race was not very good, and I was unhappy with my performance there. So we certainly got it.
Well, I think leading every single lap, setting the fastest lap by a good 2 seconds, and uh, managing to get a pit stop in hand is redemption indeed. You just absolutely blitzed it tonight, and we were riding on board on that final lap as well. And we're just doing a bit of a chat around the lap because didn't get a chance to do it earlier in the race, and we were wondering if it would be possible to get into the 113s, and then you go and do it.
There was a Peter Brock moment, wasn't it? Like Bathurst in 1979. I couldn't help it. I was trying to chase the 13 for a few laps beforehand, and I got a little bit of traffic, or just made a little mistake or something, and I was edging towards it. And I had it in my mind. I was like, I'm going to do this on the last lap as long as I don't catch anyone. I'm going to do it, and yeah, hooked it up. But the car just got better and better all race. Like, I was really surprised. It's not really stock car racing, in my opinion. The tires are meant to go off by 5 seconds a lap in 10 laps in these things. That's how it should be. Um, but I couldn't believe it. It just kept getting quicker and quicker and quicker. So I think pretty much everyone went with no tires in the pit stop because there was no need for it. And really, the cold tire was pretty dangerous. It was hard to drive on the first couple of laps. With the way the cold tire was, qualifying was a challenge to get speed out of it, and an outlap and two flyers. It was still tires coming up and qualifying. So taking tires would have been a bad choice in the end because you would have lost a lot more time than just keeping on the warm ones for 45 laps, and then to set the fastest lap at the end of the race there is pretty interesting, really.
Well, it is indeed. I mean, we saw a couple of people take tyres, and they did indeed lose time on those cold tyres. And this new wide rim tyre, obviously, it's a very different beast to the old version of the car. Of course, the new generation of NASCAR as well. It is a little bit more. I guess it's a little bit more in the sort of GT line than the stock car line. So I wonder if that is the future for the road courses. I kind of hope not, because I do like to see the tyres drop off a bit. But tonight it just looked like an absolute dream out there for you.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I hope that, like, with time we see an adjustment to the tire to make it wear. Like, you're right. There's a lot of parallels to be drawn in the tire, probably with GT racing. Like you say, they tend to just get better as the fuel comes off. That was my theory. Just run until I had no fuel left, because lighter fuel load, faster car. That's what it seemed like it was doing. So there's sort of, some parallels, I guess, to be drawn there with GT racing. But now they've made some changes to the car as well. iRacing, this is just this week. I had no idea. I was expecting the car to be like it was at Coda and just impossible to drive. And then I turned up and did a couple of practice laps. The thing's actually hooked up and good. And now it has some similarities to the V8 supercar, which is what I probably would have expected from this thing. When you talk about the development and everything like that coming into the start of the year, there are a lot of similarities between the supercar and these next gen NASCARs as well. So that probably plays into my wheelhouse, being that I do a lot of supercar racing, and now there's some similarity there between how they drive, and then the tires are, like you say, sort of something maybe like a GT sort of spec thing, and that sort of seems to be where it is. It's still very rigid and rough. It doesn't like the bumps very much, and it's loaded with horsepower. So wheel spin, got to be careful. But it's got a unique challenge to it. But it's a lot easier to drive than it was earlier in the year. Probably more like I'd expect it to be, I guess.
It's a bit like an untamed GT car. It sort of feels a bit like the old Can-Am sort of style, sort of that sort of era, sort of cars. But it's definitely played to your strengths tonight. If you watch back the broadcast, there's quite a good moment towards the end of the race where you set one of the fastest laps, and I think Mark was saying, "Oh, it looks like the tyres might have gone off for Hobson, and as it seems to be struggling with the back end, just looks like they're going loose." And then you go and set the fastest lap. So there's
Uh,
that.
it did do that. Like it was after the pit stop, the tires sort of had like a cool, like they cycled down and cooled down with the trundle down the lane, and then they got a second life. They felt really good, but then it was probably 3 or 4 laps after that, or maybe even a few more, and it did feel like it was starting to get away. And I was like, "Ugh, maybe they're starting to go off a bit of a cliff." And then it didn't even feel like a good lap. But you're right, it was I think the fastest lap of the race at that point, or it was very close to it. And I was like, oh well, it felt horrible, but it was quick, and then it sort of came back to me. I don't know, subconsciously just adjusted something in my technique or backed up corner entries a little or something. I don't really know. I didn't do it intentionally, but maybe a small change in how hard I was attacking, and it sort of got a bit easier to drive. And then subsequently, the lap speed just kept getting better and better again. So yeah, no, I think I know exactly when you're talking about because it was a bit ragged for a couple of laps.
No, look, congratulations on tonight. Absolute stunning performance, and look, you've definitely opened up a few eyes as well and gotten the attention. I mean, it's been a good year so far. Been a good season. We were talking a little bit through the race. Obviously, start of the season didn't go too well, and that first victory took a little bit of time to come your way. But now you've got that first win under the belt. It seems they seem to be coming easier and easier to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to be very reserved at the start of the year and not overstep, like we talked about several times. Just work my way into it a bit. New car, a little bit inexperienced, and I mean, I hadn't had a bad run through the season. I've only had, I think, 2 bad results, and both of them were a crash. And outside of that, I think maybe like a sixth or something is about as bad as I've been. So I'm consistent. I'm doing what I feel like I'm capable of, which is just being a good points racer and banking good points every week. But I kind of feel like I've had a bit of a slump. We had the bad run, the DNF at Charlotte, and then Gateway last week. I really struggled there. Wasn't comfortable at all, despite the fact I was fairly confident looking at that track on paper with the sort of track it was that maybe a road course background would help me there. But I really struggled last week, so I felt like I'm in a bit of a slump. Although maybe it hasn't really been as bad as I feel, but it is a momentum type thing. So I was really desperate to come out and put on a good show today. And after what happened to Coda, I was just nervous that, although I felt good, that I'd still just get smoked, and it's not what I wanted. So the result is far, far, far better than what I was even hoping would be possible. And really, it's what I need because it is a momentum thing. It's confidence, and now I can carry that again and move on to the next few races and try and continue to build on it and just learn. It's those oval packs that I need to try and just get a little better at, a little more consistently capable of winning. We're close, we're right there, but just not quite there yet with those mile and a half sort of style tracks and things. So we'll keep working on it. The momentum's on our side again, and yeah, every week could be a road course as far as I'm concerned. Now that was that was good tonight.
Just
Look,
just on that, just looking at the season, you say you had a rough start to the season. Well, the season's definitely turned around for you because you've now had 4 wins and 12 top 10 finishes. So it's definitely got your momentum going.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. I know that I've got the ability. Well, I say I know I've got the ability. There is always chance and luck and things that have to play out too. But I know that if I don't get into any trouble, that I'm capable of just banking points sort of week in and week out. Like top fives or even top tens. Like I say, I think I've had 2 or 3 sixth place finishes, so they're just outside that top five as well. So my season has been extremely consistent, which I know is one of my strengths. So I know on my night I can turn up and win. Particularly, we know that the short tracks seem to suit my style. Road courses, I'm always going to be a chance. And if I can figure out that same thing on some of those mile and a half tracks, there's always going to be a few that are duds for me. I just struggle at. But if we can figure them out, then it'll be very dangerous going into the chase. So you got to look at that end of the season, and it's good to be consistent across 36 races, but you've got to be good in 10 at the end. So I need to try and get all of our ducks in a row because it's no good just to be good at a couple of types of tracks when we get down to the pointy end of it. But we'll see.
Look, I mean, as you said, getting confidence now, that's a scary thing to hear because you've been so good so far this season. If you've got confidence and you feel like you're on top of things, this is dangerous for the rest of the drivers. So great to see. Look, fantastic result tonight. Congratulations on a brilliant victory. Before we let you go, Hobbo, the usual thing of shout out and love to those sponsors that sit on your car in a deserved P1 tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Well, thanks obviously to the guys at SSR. It's a cool team, a lot of fun. No J Russ tonight. He's away, so that's a shame. But still, it's good to get the victory up on the board for the team tonight. To the sponsors on the car, I don't know if it was on the broadcast or not, but running the green Smith and Sons livery this week for the road courses and for the dirt stuff. So awesome to have Smith and Sons. I think we've won a couple of races actually with their logos on the car. So shout out to them, Wave Runner Performance Center, DGD Custom, and all the others that are on there that all help make the wheels go round for the team. And obviously to everyone involved with running the league, it's a good bunch of people, and it's never easy to run a league. So shout out to all those guys, and of course to you for putting on a broadcast. It's always awesome to go back and check things out and see what I missed on the track.
Look, I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Thank you for giving us a great race and a fantastic performance tonight. And look, I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth shortly. Thank you so much, the 88 of Brendan Hobson.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
So, Mark and Matt, another race over. Sonoma is done for the year. Everybody can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, now what? It's only a Roval or the two Rovals.
We got Road America coming up. We've got Indianapolis, Glen, and that's it for the regular season. And then, of course, in the chase, then it is, I think that's
Charlotte Roval. Yeah, Charlotte Roval there.
So yeah, there's a few road courses still to come, obviously. But next up we are at Nashville Super Speedway, so a very different track, so that should be fun. Look, big thank you as ever, Mark. Thank you for all the help you've been giving us this season and helping out, just giving some cover. Really appreciated. A big thank you to everybody for watching as well. Without you guys' support, we could not keep this going. So a big thank you to everybody that's joined us tonight. Remember to hit that old subscribe button and things like that, and share around as well to get a little bit more views on things coming up. We will see you next week at Nashville. So from myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, with the Mark Johansson, and of course Matty Hunter on the cameras and doing all those beautiful overlays, we'll wish you a good night, and we will see you next week.